In this tutorial, we're going to cover how to create a new installation. And this is for companies who not only sell doors parts, hardware, toilet accessories, or any other item, but also do the installation. Or if you only do installations, you can use this process. So what we're going to do is come under this button right here. You have two of them. You can do a new installation, or you can search existing installations that have already been created. And we'll just take a look at that. Works pretty much as any other search item, or the way you search anything else in Portal Pro. You find the one you're looking for, double click it, and it will open it up. So we're going to start with starting a new installation. So we'll click this button, and that will in turn open the installation form, which will be real similar to an estimate or sales order, things like that. So you can see it looks real similar, everything in here. So the first thing you'll need to do is to select a customer. So we'll just grab a customer here, it doesn't matter who. And then you want to select the job that the installation's for. So you want to make sure these customers and job names are already built into your database. And again, just to reiterate, you would do that under customers and job info. All right, so let's just grab a job. It doesn't matter which one. Any job will do. This is the install information over here. You want to make sure this is set correctly according to your state. Not all states, I believe, will charge taxes on service or labor. So if that's the case, you want to make sure you change this to tax exempt or taxed by others or whatever you need here, so it doesn't charge tax. So we'll leave it taxable for now. You can put a date when needed if you like in here, or leave it out. And whether or not, when this is done, you want to show the total only, you can check that. But we'll leave all that as is. So the first thing we'll do is come under, over here, you can also make a copy if you're, for instance, if you do the same type installation over and over, but just a different job name. Just open up the installation that you're looking for and click copy, and it'll create an exact copy of whatever's in this installation, but give it a new install number. So pretty much the same way we would do on an estimate or a door and hardware schedule. So the first thing we need to do is come under product information. And there's two different ways that you can build and install. Okay, now this pops up because it tells me I need to save this before changing tabs. So I'll stay okay. You see it wouldn't let me go to product information. So I need to come down here and click on Save Install. And that just makes sure everything's saved so that when we add parts, it knows what install we're going to save this to. So now that I see the word save, now I can go to product information. All right, so I can install by the install items. If you recall, those would be under your company name as the vendor and manufacturer. So we'll do that, go through that first. So I'm going to say this is our test database, and our company is called Contract Door Company. Again, this will be your company name as the vendor and manufacturer. And then I want to select a category. Right now I can come under here. This opens up all the items for my company, or I can select a category that this is going to go under. Let's say we'll do hinges first. And I'll click this drop down. I'm sorry. We do not want category. That's my mistake. We don't want to select a category like this. We want to select installation as our category. This is important. Whenever you're using these install items, make sure that category is set to installation. Now when I hit the drop down, all I see are the install items that are in my database. So let's start off with hinges. So I'll select the hinge, and now it's going to ask me for the quantity. So this could be a large project. Let's say I have 600 hinges, and that's 3 for each door, so that'd be about 300 door openings. This is the hourly rate and the amount of time for installing each hinge that is currently in the database. I can change this for this particular install if I want. I can make this rate higher or lower. I can make the times a little bit less or more. Whatever it is you need to do. So you can see what it did is it estimated, this says 6 minutes at a rate of $100 an hour comes to $10.02. And that's the labor rate that would be charged. Again, these are always in at net discounts. For some reason that you're changing these, typically you're going to leave this as net, so just leave that as it is. So that gives you a cost of $10.02. You can add a net add for this particular item, maybe just on this one project. On all these hinges, there's an extenuating circumstance where you need a little extra for something. Just put in the extra amount there, and that'll add it to the total cost. Over here, it automatically goes to account type of special, and that's because typically that's going to be your hourly rate. So there's not going to be a markup, so it's going to be 0. So your hourly rate is going to be, or your retail is going to be the same as your hourly rate. If for some reason you want to put a markup on these, you can do it. You can maybe add an extra 10%, and that regenerates a new retail hourly rate here. Or you can use one of the other items like contractor, it's 120%. But typically, it's just all up to you, however you want to do it. We'll just leave it at special at 0% markup. So that gives a total for 600 hinges of $6,012. If I want to add a note for this particular line item, I can add it here. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Part Number. So it added it to the list for me here. I've got a total down here. Now that for the time, it does an approximate total time. So it's rounding up that total time for, looks like 60 hours. And of course it adds the sales tax as needed. Now I can go to my next item. Maybe I want to install some locks. And you can get, again, under locks, you have either install a cylindrical lock, install mortise lock, or there's an electric cylindrical lock, electric mortise lock, electric mortise lock with no trim, electric with trim, mortise lock no trim, mortise lock with trim. So you can break it down to specific items. But let's just go ahead and grab cylindrical lock. So now I need to know how many cylindrical locks I'm going to be installing. Maybe this is 300 door openings, so we'll say 300. Or maybe it's going to be 295 because 5 of them are going to have panics. So I can add an install time for panics. So let's do that. We'll say 295 of these are going to be cylindrical locks. We have this rate here, 15 minutes. Now once so that's your total time for each individual lock to install it. So when I move out of this quantity tab, it generates the total here. So once I'm satisfied with this, I'll add the part number. And now I have a new total down here and an approximate total time down here. Now this is rounding up. If you were to take this time and do it per minute, per item, and total it up, you might come up with a different total. It might be off a few pennies or maybe $1 or $2 than what you're getting over here. So the time is going to be approximate when it totals it up. What it's going to be using is the actual rate that we put in here and how many items. So that's going to be how this total is going to be generated. All right, so now let's do those panics. We have exit devices right here. We can just do an exit device, or if I know the exact type of device, if it's a rim, or maybe they're all mortise, or there's surface vertical rods. A lot of different items you can choose from, but let's just make it easy for now. I'm going to say exit device. We have 5 of those. So that's our time. There's our total for all 5 items. So I'll save that. And I can go on and add more. But once I'm done with this, if this is all we're needing, then I'm finished with this installation. Okay, so that's one way you can create an install. Another one is using the actual hardware and door items that you want to install. So let's go ahead, we'll go ahead and close this one. That is saved now to our database. We're going to do a new installation. And let's do the same customer. I could do two installations for the same customer on the same job if I wanted. I don't remember which one I chose. Let's say it was this one. And again, we need to save it before we change tabs. And once it's saved, now I go to product information. And now what I'm going to do is put the actual hardware items in. So let's say the first one is going to be a Hager hinge. So to go to Hager and category, we're going to select hinges. And these are now all the hinges that are currently in here for Hager. So let's grab a BB 1279 26D. And again, this is the same project, so I'm going to use the same number of hinges. I believe that was 600. If they're all ball bearing, I can do it all the same. I believe whether ball bearing or plain bearing, it's going to be the same amount of time, so it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So now I can put 600. You can see there's the part number, BB 1279 4.5 4.5. And you can see it's using, it's not using the cost of this hinge, it's using the hourly rate still to generate how much time and the amount of cost. So now I'm going to click Save Part Number. Now notice what happens when it added this part number. It added the word install with a hyphen in front of the part number. This is very important because when you're in an estimate and the sales order, as long as that word install is there, then you'll be able to distinguish, is this an installation or is this for a price for the actual part number? So this is how they're going to be differentiated on the estimate or sales order. So keep this in mind. Usually you're going to build these estimates one way or the other, using the install type under installation or using the actual part number. So now I can go to the maybe the locks where I'll go ahead and use Hager. I believe they have locks in here. So select locks as a category, and then we'll find a lock to install. Let's just grab the first one. So there we can have the time. I want to put the quantity. Again, that was 295 of these. And if I need to change this for whatever reason, the rate, the time, anything, I can do it here. And that's going to be changed only for this particular installation. So we'll just leave it as is for now. So when I tab out of there, I get my total. I'll go ahead and save the part. You can see it added that word install again to the front of the part number. Now if I edit one of these, if I double click it, you can see it pulls in the actual part number again, not the word install with a hyphen. And now I can make whatever changes I need to make, and I can save it back. And it still keeps that install word in front of that part number. That's very important. So I want to make sure this is how you're going to build these installs. And now I can go to Panics. I think they do have, or extra devices, I believe it's under X devices right here. And I can pull in the actual exit device. That's a concealed vertical rod. I believe that's trim. Let's do this trim. And let's see, there's 5 of those. So there's the rate for installing that exit device. Save the part number. And there I have it. So this is how I would build the install using the actual part numbers. So it's pretty straightforward. Now we'll cover all these other tabs up here under different tutorials. So this is what you're going to do to create an actual install. So if you have any questions on this or issues, concerns, or suggestions, please let us know. And we'll be more than happy to help you out. I believe that should do it for this. So thanks again.